Welcome everyone, Greek Retro Geek here. This is another video, it's been a while. We're going to open another box. This box doesn't have many video games, but it has many retro related items from the 80s and the 90s. I do not really remember exactly what's in there. We're going to open it together and explore the items. So I'm going to make it easier for me to grab the items and start with the first thing I grabbed from the box, which looks like it has nothing to do with the collection, but it does have to do with the security of the collection. So this is a camera system, a Wi-Fi camera system, a canary, which I used to use in the old house, and now we're going to be installing it in one of the two parts of the game room. I'm going to put it aside, and then I'm going to grab this very nice record. It's the album Thriller, Michael Jackson Thriller, a classic one, which I found a couple of years ago in a thrift store, and so I grabbed it. It was like 50 cents. It's really nice, good shape. I think I might frame it. I don't see myself really putting together, a record player setup anytime soon. So this most likely will be framed. It's one of my favorite Michael Jackson albums. Moving to the next item, I do not know if you remember this game from Capcom for the Nintendo Wii. It's like a point and click adventure. It's called Zack and Wiki, and this is a promotional item from Capcom from 2007. It's a mini puzzle which I actually made, and you can see how it's like three-dimensional. It's really cool. I think I found it on GameStop. They were giving them away like 10 years ago, and it's definitely going to be a nice piece to have when I put together the Wii games collection. The next thing I'm grabbing is a Super Mario promotional stand for the 25th anniversary of Super Mario, which was like more than a decade ago. Really nice. I think I brought it from Greece. I think I found it in MediaMarkt, if you know the chain of electronics, the MediaMarkt. Next, we have this very interesting Tiger Electronics Paperboy. Those used to be quite popular in the 90s, from the early 80s to the 90s, and many of the video games were actually made into very basic and portable LCD Game & Watch like renditions. Most of these games are not really playable today, but I really appreciate the art. You can basically see retro art of the original games, so this is a pretty cool item. I have many handheld games in my collection. So what I'm grabbing next is really cool. This is a board game from the 80s, Care Bears. I don't know if you remember this TV show, this cartoon. It was really fun. The Care Bears were up in the clouds, and they were going down to the real world and doing things, and pretty nice inside. I mean, there's all the pieces in the box and everything. I don't know if I'm going to keep this one, to be honest with you. I might part with this. I'm not a a board game collection, and they take up a lot of room. I really have to be very dedicated to do that. So I'm most likely going to add the Care Bears board game. This is from Parker Bros. To the things to sell list. So now we have another classic, which might end up in the same pile. This is a board game based on the Wheel of Fortune. This is the Wheel of Fortune game, really nice and cool. A junior edition from Pressman. I think, judging from the art, this is late 80s. I can find the year from the box. It's 1987. Yes, I'm like right. Wheel of Fortune junior edition. Really cool. Let's try to open it and see what's in there. Oh, right. This is the main table where you reveal the words. I mean, cool stuff, folks. Cool stuff. Based on the #1 syndicated series in TV history. Look at the kids. Look at the style. Look at the haircut of the kids and the clothes. Very nostalgic, huh? So this is Wheel of Fortune board game. Now, let's There is some video game things here, but we're gonna make it more interesting. Wait for a few more minutes before we grab them. So let's continue with some classic VHS movies. Scrooged. That's one of the better movies, Bill Murray. I love Bill Murray. He's so funny. He's so cynical and funny at the same time. Then I have a Captain Apache with Lee Van Cleef, a Western movie. We got a couple more. I grabbed the classic Jim Carrey movie Dumb and Dumber. I mean, if you haven't seen this movie, please do. It's hilarious. And then I have another kind of like 90s movie, Married to It. I haven't seen this one. All these VHS tapes, I got them for free from an estate sale. And I have another one, which is Saving Silverman. I think I'm going to dump this. I don't really want to own this thing in my collection. If I was in Greece, I would basically add it to a pile for donations for anyone who wants to get them out of my hands. But it looks like no one cares for these things here in the United States. Next thing I'm going to grab is this nice plug and play Miss Pac-Man game from Namco. These are really fun. These work pretty well. I mean, the controller, the joystick is not the best in the world, but they're responsive. The games are well emulated, and I think some of them are not even emulation. Some of these are actually, cheap in, the circuit actually has the logic, of the original hardware. I don't remember if this is the case for this one, but it's really cool 2000s item. I have many of these. I have quite a few of these. Now this is really fun. And I think you've seen this thing. This is a Nintendo Game Boy carrying case. It's pretty big, huh? This is a plastic case, looks like a Game Boy. And if you open it, we're gonna open it together. We find how it opens. Shouldn't be that hard, right? So there's room for your Game Boy, for your charger, and for several games. I don't have anything there, of course, but it's a nice piece of history. Many people used to own, this one back in the 90s. It was made in 1991, and the back of the box actually looks like the real Game Boy. You see now it has a card slot. There's supposed to be a cartridge here. It's pretty cool. I'm going to, since we're almost done, I'm gonna grab the next item, which is, this is another Tiger game, but one of the better ones. This is Snake's Revenge, based on the NES game, the sequel of Metal Gear on the NES. I don't know how playable this is going to be, but they try to make it look like Metal Gear. I don't know how much of the stealth factor the game will have. I think that even though the box is pretty yellowed, the actual system, as far as I can see, because it's broken, it's not very yellow on the back. But since it is in its original box, I'm going to keep it in its box, even though it looks ugly in my opinion. Now I do have another plug and play, which is kind of like huge, and this is another Miss Pac-Man handheld, but this one is different. This sits on a platform. It has an on-off button, right? It sits on the platform. You remove the actual plug and play game from the platform and you start playing. So I don't know, there's something I like in the aesthetics of this one. I think that what I like is that you can play wirelessly, because this is basically kind of like the base, which is connected to the TV, and this connects to the base via IR technology. So I mean, this is the benefit compared to the other one that we saw, that this is actually wireless. Pretty nice stuff. Plug and play TV games, and these were made in the 2004, Jack's Pacific. And I think that the joystick feels a little better on this one. And I think that we got everything except for, one thing, which, oh yes, you're gonna like what's in there. You're gonna like what's in there. Oh. So let's go back to the 70s. Let's go back to the 70s. The first video game system you could buy and play games at home. The Odyssey. And this is not the system. I have the system, but these are only the controllers of the system. If I can take them out of the shrink wrap, I can show them to you. I'm almost there. Yep. This is the controller for the Odyssey system. It has the knobs and a reset button, another knob, and another smaller knob on the knob. You know, 70s art. The idea of controlling a game back in the day was, you know, moving knobs. The idea of a joystick came later in the late 70s. So this is pretty cool. It has two of these. They connect to the system, which it seems I have in a different box, which we are going to, of course, open unbox in the future. I think that this was the last item that was in this box. There's the light bulb there. I don't know how it ended up being in this box. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe. There's going to be more amazing videos to come. Enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure you do fun things and be retro and be fun.